Reese's Christmas bananas. And things going weird today. Today was a really weird day, I gotta say. Holy shininas. Oh no! The fucking thing broke again. Dynamite, eh? Studio broke again. The OBS Studio always breaks. I don't know what the fudge to do about that. No fucking shot. No, no, no. Please. Please, don't tell me I have to redo this whole freaking thing. Please don't tell me I have to redo this whole freaking thing. Because, like, I was gonna be upset because, like, I finished that yesterday. Oh, come on, just take it. God dang it. I come in and it's just like, no! Yeah. And it's not gonna do whatever I want either. What is she? Unbothered. Because who would want to bother that? I was gonna say a certain other word right there just because she'd be like, well, howdy doody. And you know, that kind of happens, you know, sometimes when things go, you know, you be sideways, you know, I'm just saying, sometimes you be sideways is a bit weird. Oh. Shit. Like I said, I just wanted to get past this whole area so I can get back to the main story and whatnot and the things that I want to do instead of, you know, dealing with Totocard who gets, you know, blah, blah. Who's trying her best, you know? I'm not gonna be upset with that. She's trying her best. But another threatening letter. Okay, so we have another threat on the lives of these people who are working. Oh god. God dang it. I wish that would go away finally. My back cannot take any more of it being pain. Why are you not doing what I want you to do again? Like, I've already done this, so that's all good. But I want to do some more of that as well. Is there any new... No mail. Okay, so what am I supposed to... And then I accidentally... Yeah, I forgot that she's right there. And that's going to trigger the frickin' main storyline. She's about right.
I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food. Really?
Hopefully she does pay me. That'd be nice.
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with
I also have some skills, yo.
trouble now, you know. Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that. Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
Scary.
Met you a while back.
Why did you knock that out of my hands, bitch?
To see you. Her name's Mona. Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. Really good one, too. She's so young and already such a brilliant astrologist. So she mentioned me? What did she say? She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Yeah.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary
Not right
traveler
there at the end.
Paimon?
Son of a bitch. I can't see it.
Article in the paper today doesn't
I don't have it set up big enough over there for me to see what the camera looks like on my face, you know, right here. I do not have it.
and ask you
I have
to
it
talk about
big
the
enough
things
so
you've
everything
seen
else
and
can be seen, you know.
experienced.
So that's nice.
Yeah, are we even
Qualified for what again?
In that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then? Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. I'll have to get done now. Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you. And what's that? If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow?
That is a good question. Is she actually from Fontaine, or wasn't she from Liyue?
That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but I've never once thought that the day could be tomorrow.
Because I'm kind of confused sometimes. Some of the characters.
I'm trying to think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland.
Oh, okay, so she is from here.
Most people don't know what they do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than worry over such an end. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad, but I've always believed that it's best to do what you enjoy.
Well,
Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique person, then the story I would wind up writing would truly be timeless.
yeah, because if you die, and your last bit of writing would become your probably most popular thing because you were doing it right when it was happening, right when everything was going on. But I was going to be more into the assumption she was going to want to be a reporter in the field in the midst of this disaster happening and trying to write down, take photographs, get any kind of video that she can of the disaster happening, because that's what they do. You were able to see it when during the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, where you would have these people just go there and get in the middle of all the fighting and the gunfire just to see who can get the best shot. And reporters died because of their hubris of trying to get the best shot possible and the best news-worthy writing they could. I was under this assumption that's what she was going to want to do. But apparently she just wants to, have a good interview, and then if she goes, she goes.
Messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I do love my job. And I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist.
Sure.
Anyway, that's my answer.
So she basically will be like, I'm just going to stay here, and I will keep doing the interview for the interview. But, we don't really know when the disaster is going to really technically happen. I would assume she's going to do the first thing that comes to her mind, which is get close to the action, regardless of how dangerous it is for her. Because I doubt it's going to happen during the interview, so, I wouldn't doubt that it's going to happen, and she's going to be one of the first people on scene other than emergency evacuation, rescue people, and whatnot. She's going to be there trying to get pictures and write articles and see what she can do. I'm guaranteeing that will happen. That will include also other people from Fontaine and outside of Fontaine. As soon as anything gets passed around that there's a disaster happening, you're going to bet that there's going to be people who are going to be coming in to get video, photography. They're going to write articles about it. They're going to try to get in there and try to, correspond what's going on to the rest of the world. That's just how it happens. That's what they do. Some people are just into doing that.
The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Hyman's been thinking, if it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Hyman should ask, if you could choose, what would you... We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road and whatnot. You mean, still traveling? Huh.
Well, if the world were to end tomorrow, and I didn't die immediately, because let's be fair, in the case of an apocalypse, most people would probably be dead really quickly. What would I do? Probably sleep in. I don't know. Sleep in would be kind of nice. Maybe die in my sleep like that. You know, just not even fucking know that my head gets chopped off or whatever. I don't. Fuck it. Uh, grab the nearest woman and kiss them. Grab the nearest man and kiss them. I don't know. There's nothing in this area that I would want to do. There's nothing here that I would think would be a brilliant thing to do before I die. Simply because I'm in basically the middle of Nowheresville where there's nothing really to do. You got kayaking on Rainbow River and then you got caves and bars. What else is there? I don't know. Uh I wouldn't go racing my car because that would be stupid. That would be a quick way to die. But I think maybe. I think maybe just grab some sunglasses and go out and just watch the chaos unfold, maybe. That could be an interesting thing to do. Just put myself in the middle of it. If I die, I die. And just like pay attention and watch everything happen around me. All the chaos, all the people doing the things that they want to do to try to get to safety, and all the explosions and aftermaths that could happen, and just see what happens. Will the world end tomorrow? No. No. The likely chance of the world ending tomorrow, or any day to be fair, I would say probably would be winning the lottery. Not just winning the lottery, might I add. Winning the lottery, every single lottery drawing for the next month. And you not only getting the Florida Lotto, but also the Mega Millions and the Powerball Lotto as well. All three, every single drawing for an entire month. That would probably be the statistic of, the likelihood of the world ending at really any point in time right now. Realistically, it's not going to happen. Everyone talks big about the world ending in all the ways it could. Really dumb.
Feels like it'll grow mold if you... But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Ah, so the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillac sent me to look.
If you want to bring up mutually assured destruction as well,
to the Fortress of Mirapede.
there's a problem with that. Because at least for the United States and a couple other nations, we have the technology to prevent the homelands from getting, hit by those things. We've had that technology since the fucking 90s. Realistically, nothing will happen. Aliens come out? No. They're not going to just randomly pop up and start killing everybody. Is the super volcano going to actually go off any point in time? No. Guess what? That's actually receding a little bit. The magma is actually receding a little bit, and it's becoming more dormant than it was before. Bet you didn't know that. The seas rise out of nowhere and kill people? No. The sun exploding? That's not going to happen for another couple 100 million years, if that. Random black hole popping up? We kind of know where the black holes are around us, so we know that they're not coming towards us. A giant asteroid? We already basically have plans. We've tested several plans on how to frickin' deal with asteroids. But then again, that's also if we can actually see them, because sometimes you can't see them. So technically that would be the most likely, I would say. Just a meteorite that's coming at the planet. Gets missed.
Not at all. I'm well aware that
But we also, like I said, we have plans and ideas that we could use in case of a giant... If we see it just in time to stop a giant meteorite from actually coming in and just wiping everything out.
well,
Global warming, temperature rising by another like 0.2 or 2 degrees or whatever on average. Mass extinction would probably be like mass extinction of like bugs and might be the truest way everyone goes, but fuck it. Again, that would take a while. It wouldn't be just, oh, bugs are gone, we're all dead within a week. That's not gonna, that's also, that wouldn't happen either. So, I'm just saying, the odds of mass extinction in the world ending is very small.
People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first to be blamed.
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control,
And you can say Armageddon from a religious standpoint,
she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left.
but that's if you believe in that religion, for one. And two, if you go based on those religions, you're never gonna know what's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen.
So you mean she's
So,
still missing?
again, statistically,
The Marchese has
not gonna
dispatched
happen.
Many people to search for her, but we don't have that said. I don't.
And the
think
likelihood
there's
is just
much more
so
about her.
small.
She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of
Like,
rivals,
I think
what could ordinary people do?
you have a higher chance of getting struck by lightning while getting attacked by a shark. And, you know, surviving both and then getting hit by a coconut while getting in a car accident. I'm just saying, it's not gonna happen. The world's not gonna end at any point in time.
Sent me to tell you about the situation, but he didn't say.
It's just gonna keep going on and on.
Don't worry. This is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
I also like the idea of just thinking, getting attacked by a shark and then also getting struck by lightning at the exact same time. From my understanding, it has never, ever happened. Watch it happens tomorrow on the news or something. Florida man gets attacked by a great white shark and then gets struck by lightning while he's being attacked. I'll eat fucking shit in that day.
If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead,
Actually, I wonder, I don't think that's ever happened, but I want to know if it's, I'm still going after Skittles. I'm gonna eat all these Skittles before I even get a chance to even save them. Motherfucker.
when Nervala was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about
Skittles are
Fossil,
just too good.
she couldn't hide her sadness and remorse. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she... Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to... In that case, there's not a moment to lose.
Poisson. Poisson. We're going to Poisson. Why hit rocks? I have actually no idea what I'm supposed to be doing anymore because everything I was trying to do is gone. While Leeway celebrates, the adepts face a hidden calamity. I could, but... Apocalypse! Yeah! Poisson! Croissant! Faisson! Jason!
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation.
What is she saying to me now?
Here?
She's saying some weird stuff to me over here on my phone down here. I don't know what she's trying to tell me, but she's trying to tell me something. Vincenzo! Flood recently, and it's a total mess. While waters have receded for now, no one knows where it's going to happen. Perhaps you also know the prophecy. Anyway, the townspeople have already evacuated. No help is needed right now, so you should really get out of here, too. Gary, why would you burp on camera like that? What the hell? You motherfucker. Motherfucker. Dove it. Bad fish. It smelled like, you know, pizza, but you know that's not supposed to be. It's not Friday yet. So if you burp again in my face and it's taco smelling, then I know exactly where you've been. Why are you... What's that? Oh yeah, no, that takes me all the way up there, doesn't it? Oh, I was already going to the proper place that I needed to go to. Woo! And that's okay, we just down on the beach. Fiorina?
That's Farina, right over there.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry, but what can I even do? Other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over. Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
And there she goes.
So it is you, traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on
Your
face
makeup
are
is a bit
obvious.
stained still, girlfriend, you know.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it.
She's trying. She...
Who did that uncivilized rabble
Get your
think they
whisker
were?
off, Gary.
Disturbing
What the
my
heck is your
enjoyment of the
problem?
arts.
What is your deal today, Gary?
Dare to tout their archon.
I don't know what's going on.
Listen.
I have no idea what's going on. But Gary...
I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces.
She's being
when
weird.
they realize that I'm nowhere to
Not
be
me.
found.
I am perfectly fine. I am capable of not being weird
I'm sure
tonight.
Colette and those people
It's
from
this
the
guy.
North Just Say Phantom are freaking out right next to them too.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
What?
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are. They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to. That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Yeah, run away because they sound like they want to kick your ass. For whatever reason.
Quick, we have to catch up.
I don't know why they're saying, look, it's Fiorina to catch her. She's bad. She's bad news. They're still after her, actually, so it's actually a bit concerning because I don't know why they're trying to go after her yet. But at least Fiorina's like, come on, guys, let's go this way.
The place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them cut.
What?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is.
Yeah, because if you keep running, it's not gonna end good anyways. Because you just damn it. God, it just still tickles my throat right here. It's 2 weeks now. Friday.
Paimon's exhausted.
That's 1 week. Yeah, this is two. It's gonna be 2 weeks tomorrow.
I'm so tired. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed. You're right.
Yeah, you might want to calm down. It's just a rusty metal building.
What's happening? The ground's shaking.
Yeah. A quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, did it?
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Neverlette's made some emergency.
Yeah, but the people of Poisson, they've already. It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Teyvat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways too to
But
hold
nothing
this
wants to work.
anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
So she's admitting that she's a couple hundred years old. So
I do love the sound of that phrase.
damn it.
It means finally coming to terms of fate. For me to finally
God damn it. No. There are now Skittles all over my floor. I thought the top was secure. I was wrong. I threw it as a joke. Now there's Skittles everywhere. I'll be right back. I'm just going over this way just a little bit because it's by my front door. I do not need Cody sneaking in and getting Skittles. Or leaving Skittles anywhere for ants. Oh no! Do-do-do-do-do. Giant woman! I think I found them all. Either way, now they're tainted. So there's some tainted ass Skittles. I am not going to touch the Skittles anymore. I am an idiot. I can't believe wasted all my Skittles.
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times.
Like I threw the Skittles over there for the meme of just throwing the Skittles. I was not expecting the top to pop and everywhere. Now my Skittles are ruined because technically my floor is a bit dirty over in that corner by the front door, and I need to vacuum and do like a floor spray to clean the floor.
I still don't
I
have the
do.
right to
I don't
control
trust it.
fate
I don't trust
over
it.
everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until... Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
That is a very, very large eyes going across the face.
Sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Cher, that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
A witness.
Yes, I've heard that you came to Teyvat from beyond the stars, yes? In other words...
Exactly. So technically, we're an outside observer. Observer. Gerber babies.
A show on a stage, then you're just a spectator.
A spectator to the show of the apocalypse. Yes.
That's the case.
I am technically not part. Actually, if the prophecy is a thing that is like a vision from the past of the future, and whoever came up with the prophecy saw this happening or foretold it to happen in the future, wouldn't they also be foretelling that a traveler would be coming? That an outside spectator would be there to witness it, or something like that. Because if you think about it, there have been other things with the traveler in this game so far as well, for one. And then two, if you go by the fact that it was a future telling by someone who was reading the stars or whatever. I forgot exactly how they explained how the prophecy came to be. Realistically, if it was a great mage from a century, like 1,000 years ago, and they saw this coming and happening, it's gonna kill everybody. Everyone's gonna die. The water's gonna flood. They would have also seen Lumine and Paimon. Probably. They might not have been able to understand or make sense of it, but they would have also been part of the prophecy themselves. Realistically, should be. It might not be in how this world works, but should be. Woo, cutscene! We're gonna get Illumine to speak. She was, but we're having issues. Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes.
Okay. So were we actually in Poisson, or are we somewhere else? Because Poisson and where the stage is are very far away, so you wouldn't have the ability to transfer the building that they were in from Poisson all the way over to the stage here. I forgot the name of the stage. Especially that quickly with the mechanisms that they would have had. So either that was magic and they magically teleported them over, which would have been the shaking, or, you know, they weren't actually in Poisson at any fucking point in time. Because that's not how magic, or that's not how magician's fakery works. You don't just take them over 1,000 meters away from one spot to the next within like a couple of minutes like that. It doesn't work. That does not work like that. So either Fiorina and us were confused about where we went and we didn't actually go to Poisson, or this was just magic and they magically teleported it over, because that's not gonna make any sense. And I would understand that the rattling would be possibly them moving or transporting it or whatever, but again, that is such a far distance, especially from underground to above ground to over water to back on land and then into the onto the stage. It's either they teleported the whole thing over there, or they weren't actually ever in Poisson, and they built a giant replica of Poisson underneath or nearby and confused Fiorina and the Traveler, unless the Traveler knew, which I'm gonna find out probably. That's all I can understand. I can understand with that, because that's how a magician would do it. You would trick the person into going into a fake Poisson, and the fake Poisson is like literally right next door. Or, you know, they just wouldn't be in fucking Poisson. They'd be somewhere else. I'm just... It's cool that they used a magic trick, but it's not a magic trick because it's literal magic that they used and not, you know, a trick.
Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god?
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
What?
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina,
What kind of strange
what is
team are you
going
trying, and how is it working?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender. Looking for excuses again, huh? I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry.
She also looks very tired right now. Like,
I was unable to
she's got
protect
like
the
some
people of
darkness
Poisson.
under her eyes at the moment.
It is my duty to stand
Like, she looks
trial for my
tired.
crimes.
Mavroka,
You are
Emilia,
not the
Pyro
only
Traveler, and
ones to be disappointed
Ian
in
Young.
me.
Wait, Pyro Traveler's a
I,
thing?
too,
I
am
thought Pyro
so
Traveler wasn't a thing. Did they update that?
in myself.
And
But
Ian
now,
Yan as
it is
DPS.
time for the Hydro
No,
Archon
Ian Yan
to
is
show you
C3.
her courage and
Seems like an
resolve.
interesting setup.
Farina, will
You
use
have
this trial to show
2
the world
Pyros,
the
a
true
Dandro, and
meaning
I
of
don't really know what
justice.
Ian Yan is.
This time,
Like, what Ian Yan uses, but that's an interesting setup to have 2 Pyros and a
applaud and rejoice.
and
One of
Dendro.
the most outrageous and
Unless I, like I said,
personal
Ian Yan
honors
something
in
else, which I, like I said, I don't really
is
know,
now
'cause I don't know if I
unfolding
think I have
before
Ian
your
Yan.
eyes. Mark my words.
Wait, what's happening?
This shall be one of the
Finish 5.3 Archon Quest on Lucky Pirate Travel. Well, I'm not there. I'm still here. I'm still here in Fontaine. I am just hoping
Why does it feel
I
like
can
we
get
just
through
the whole thing? Like, come on. Didn't she just get
I can get past 5.3 before, you know, we get, you know, Shneznaya. I'm hoping I can catch up to the storyline. An L, not an I for name Lanyan, and she's the Animo Catalyst. Oh, okay, so then you have 2 Pyro, a Dendro, and an Animo Catalyst. That's interesting. That is kind of weird, like you said. That is a strange set. At least from my understanding, is like my understanding's still very very bad on the game. I'm just saying my understanding's still pretty bad. But wow. Well, yeah, Emilia works with a burning team. Yeah, because it's the Dendro and like Emilia has like a really good like spread uh, special attack, and then mixing that with the pyro does do like a really heavy damage. And I've been hearing that Dendro and pyro are like a really really hot spicy combination right now, and like everyone's using a burning set like that, so that makes sense. Or Saikazuha, and you can get a shield with her. Really. I'm gonna have to look into her maybe, but then again, I kind of want to use. I'm kind of still with the the original like Mondstadt style team with when it comes to like Kaya, Diluc, and like Jean, but you know I still need to try to like work my way out and get more characters and try more different teams and stuff. Because like right now I'm just using spread out like Geo, Electro, Hydro and Pyro, and then sometimes swapping the Hydro for Cryo, and just I'm doing my Pokemon method where I do not have one of the same types in the team. Because I grew up with Pokemon, so I wanted to make sure I have my teams set up a very specific way where I didn't have one of the same, or at least have a mismatched typing when it came to that, because I wanted to mismatch types and try to make sure I could counter anything that would come my way. So I'm thinking that way when it comes to building my team for this game right here, even though that's the stupid way and not how you're supposed to play this game. It constantly applies Pyro, and Emilia applies Burning with Lanyan, continuing Swirl. And then yeah, with Lanyan that it swirls as well. That does seem really good. It does seem like a really good set. A weird set, but a good set.
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward. Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula. Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled.
We need to Natlin.
All we needed to
Be
turn
prepared
smoldering
for
anger
not many English
into a
voices because the
flame.
SAG after. Yeah.
According
I'm
to
hoping that
the
they
analysis
fix that,
of you,
to be very
when
honest.
something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson.
I'm hoping that they might, because isn't the SAG after strike already hasn't it been over for months now?
So you mean
I could have sworn it stopped. Came to an end back in like August, September area, and then Natlin was already coming out around that time anyways, and they didn't have the time to be able to do it. Like I remember the first thing that was affected by it was Nahida's birthday, and then Natlin was the same thing happening.
Setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese. The volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Arenias. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human.
But I've already explained that that wouldn't work. So they they're... I know that, but that was part of that SAG after, because the fact that they were trying to use the AI voices to basically finish things up, make sure the voice actors didn't have to come back in studio and just reuse it, and then also only offer pennies on the dollar to allow them to use, like, pay the voice actors and actresses pennies on the dollar to be able to use their voices for in perpetuity, which is fucking wrong. Excuse my language. You should not be paying. You should be paying somebody the same exact amount of money that you would pay them if they did it themselves. If you're going, if not more, by using their voices like that. I'm just saying, their voice is their person. Their personality is in their voice, and that's their voice. You can't just take someone's voice and pay them like 20 grand. Because I heard a story in that some people were getting offered like 20 grand and maybe like $100 every time their voice was used. And that's nothing, dude. That's nothing. It's messed up. It's really messed up. Like, you should not be doing that. So I understand, and I'm not like upset with it. I'm just wondering, is it past that point already where we can actually have the voice acting coming back to certain games and movies and TV shows and whatnot? I know when it comes to video games, you can patch it and you can like add the voices in later. So I'm assuming if it's already over, are we gonna get those voices added back in? We have the Lantern Rite, the Chinese New Year Lantern Rite festival going on as well at the same time. It's also missing voices. So this was probably made around the same time, around like August, September, October, probably getting the voice acting done then. If not, maybe November and December. So I'm still concerned because this is a new thing that they made for this Lantern's Rite. Why are we still missing voice actors and actresses? Other than maybe the strike is still going on? I don't know. I have not even gotten anything yet. I've not even really tried. I haven't really tried. Well, actually, no, I've tried a little bit, but then I got another Rosalia. Which, to be fair, gothic, ice, nun, with thick thighs. Yes. Please step on me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But back to this back to the magic trick here real quick. I can actually go review. And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history. That's right. The house was a magic box rather than someone's residence. As a super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by the whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranès. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of human. That would not work. It would not work. It would take way too much time. There is no way that he used the same magic trick, same trick as the original trick to get them from Poisson to Aranès that quickly. It's not going to take like maybe 5 minutes to get you up, like get you out, up, out, onto a boat, across the water, off the boat, into the building, quietly without anything other than maybe 2 shakes. This is gonna be a fuck ton more. This is a fucking this is not a magic trick, this is magic. That's not how that's gonna work. If he would have explained that you weren't in Poisson, and we tricked you into thinking you were in Poisson, and it was actually built outside of the theater, I would have understood it then. That would have made sense. But them explaining that it's a super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed here, not how that would work realistically in real life. You would not do it that way. You would trick them into thinking they were in Poisson when they actually were not in Poisson. So it's so dumb. It's like it's similar to the fact that how some usually try to do it is like you'd get on a plane, you think you're going to where you're gonna go. The plane is just flying in like a circle, basically, or like a figure eight, lands down. While you're up in the air, they change things around, make it look a little bit different. You can't see outside of the plane. The curtains are closed, so you can't really see. You're just enjoying life. It lands, you get off. Oh my god, we're in a different place. This is now France. You go out and do your thing. You go inside the building where you think you're supposed to be in France. You're still in the same place. That's how that trick would work. I'm just saying. Cutscenes are good in Fontaine. I've done everything. I'm really going to play some Rocket League. So peace. Alright, later. Enjoy the Rocket League. Enjoy the Rocket League. I have not played Rocket League, but I know it's fun. But no, it's not how this would work. I would assume more magic than magic trick. I don't think there's any trick with this because the way they're explaining it is the same way where you have the person over here and the person over here. They go down, they switch places. That's not how this is working here. You're not going from here to over there like that. That's not going to work that distance unless you're using like teleportation or it takes a really fucking goddamn long time. Because remember, we were underground at Poisson and some random location. They would have to move you, go up, move out, go to the water, put you on a boat, go. It's not gonna work that way.
My thanks, Farina.
I hate it so much.
You're welcome.
I don't believe that whatsoever.
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
Okay, see, there's a bit more explanation, but again, if it was actually in Poisson, it would not work.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box.
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
But that's not how.
Then, I can guess Nervillette and Cloran.
It would take a lot longer to do that.
You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding.
Thank you.
As for
And she's just like, thank you.
traveler,
I don't believe
role was to
that.
keep you distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage. Oh?
Hopefully, you'd share your secret with us before the magic box arrived onto the stage.
It's fine. It matters. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
I would hope that Lenny would explain it more, so I can try to reasonably understand how they would have done it, because even then, what they're saying, we dug a tunnel from Poisson to the water, and we had strong men to move the box. That explains not how they got into the box, how they were able to get the box to a boat, and how they got the boat across the water as quickly as they did. Because after this, I can pull up the map of Poisson to Arenes, and it's going to be very, very far. It's gonna be at least 1,000 meters, at least, distance away. It makes no sense. Like, it does not make any sense at all. I'm just saying. That does not make sense to me. How the trick would work, because it would take maybe a minimum of fucking hour by boat. And that's a fast boat. To get from Poisson to where we would need to go in Ernest. If my remembrance of the map is correct. Actually, I can pull up the map right here on my phone. Fontaine map. No, it's not telling me anything right there. What I want to know. That one I can't see. Yeah, from where Poisson is to where the Elanace is, it's probably a good 1,000 meters in distance. And that's also without having to drill through the mountain and go by boat. Because you have to go by boat to get there. You might be able to use like the water shuttles maybe if you can get the building onto it, but that thing's way high up in the air, so that's not going to work. So you'd basically be going from a boat and going straight across to the Upper Epiclese and then getting it in there. It's just that's not going to work without how quick it took them to go. I just don't believe it a single bit. Like, I'm sorry if my complaining about how the trick works and how wouldn't is upsetting, but it just wouldn't.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too. Oh, let Paimon see. Wait. Then that means this doc. So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an art. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, all right?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I've been following all this time. This is the first time Monsieur Fatui Harp before. I mean, the words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something.
Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna go into that one right there.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, nervy lad. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this.
That is actually a good point. We've not established what she's supposed to be guilty of. So I have no idea why she's even supposed to even be here legally. If we're trying to figure out what she's hiding, then what legal reason would there be for a trial? Natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict of crime.
But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Ah, fraud. Okay, I see. Okay, now that makes sense. Charging her with fraud. But also, wouldn't it be not just fraud? It would. There's some other precedences that would come into place as well, because she's also then technically impersonating a governmental official, I wouldn't say a president, because she's not a president, but a royal, probably, maybe, impersonating a royal, and impersonating a god does not. All that's gonna get you is being stoned or put on the cross. I'm just saying, you're gonna be put to death because people don't like when you pretend to be a god. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Christianity. I'm just saying.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
I came here thinking that we're going to try the Hydra Archon for forsaking her Are you an idiot?
Charge accepted.
Okay, but yeah, I would assume that it wouldn't just be fraud. It would probably be a multitude of other things around the idea of fraud, because she's not just lying about who she is technically. She's also lying about a lot of things then.
There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters,
Oh, that was kind of interesting looking.
laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will, if you wish to drop the case, I can...
There's gonna be a point that this is probably the truth and she's actually not. I've been kind of spoiled a little bit by people who would not, you know, please don't spoil to heart and decide to tell me things. And apparently she's not, so I wonder how it's gonna come out.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not...
Because like I've been told that apparently she's not, but I don't know how it makes sense in some ways. So I'm still I still need to learn how that makes any sense, how that is the truth. Because there's a long belief. God, I wish this cough would go away.
If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
By being adorable? I don't fucking know. What's special about Furion exactly? Which one? I like how there's some.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a
Doesn't matter who gave us the information. Matters is the veracity of the claim.
I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neverlet sensed it too, huh?
Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Farina, is that...
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods.
Sure. But humans can also possess authority as well. That means nothing, and humans have been known to worship other humans. And in no small part, don't take this the wrong way, this is just, you know, relevant because there's a big thing coming up in like 3 days called the Super Bowl, where The players are, believed to be like gods among people just with their ability to play, and people like to be fanboyish and girlish over them. But someone's going to be in attendance at the Super Bowl named Taylor Swift, who is worshipped by her fans. Millions and millions of fans. She is human. She is not a god. But she is worshipped by fans, loyal fans, who will go to fisticuffs over her and to protect her. Again, this is not me attacking Taylor Swift or the fans. This is just me bringing relevant point to what I'm trying to get at. Just because people worship you and you have an air of authority or possess authority over people doesn't make you a god. Not at all. So her argument right there doesn't even factor in this shit.
For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine.
Sure.
One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the endemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
That one trial proved the opposite. Fiona actually has no control over Oratrice at all. Yeah, because, Child was judged.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good idea.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order.
Yeah, she can't really say that right now. If she tries to claim that because she's a goddess that her machinations are not understandable by human minds, then the trial would technically be that of a sham at that point. She can't use that argument. It's going to mean nothing at this point because she's on trial. She has to try to explain herself and or her machinations of why or how what she thinks and acts and says doesn't become understandable to people. She has to try to explain that to try to be able to make everybody understand that she is a goddess herself. So I'm assuming he's telling her to shut the fuck up and actually talk.
While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information.
And technically, she's doing that by stating what she's stating, that humans can't understand the gods. She's basically using that as a, what is the right word for it? Because I don't think it's straw man, but she's using it as a way to defer giving any explanation. I'm not a lawyer, so obviously I don't know all the fucking keywords, but at least I'm smart enough to understand that she's just trying to throw everybody off by saying, oh, I am a god, you can't understand what I'm trying to do, but that's not gonna matter here. It matters not at all. If you're gonna be on trial and you say, well, you just don't understand, I'm too smart. You're too dumb. You can't understand me. It's not gonna give you any headway in proving yourself innocent of anything. It's just gonna prove that you're fucking stupid and that you're hiding something.
You'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all...
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice.
Well, to be fair, the Oratrice, if I remember from the earlier story in this chapter, not this chapter, but this chapter. No? Was it Are we in a chapter, or is it like the massive chapter, or are we in like part 5 is the like part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the chapters, or is this chapter 5 and then there's parts to it? I forgot. But earlier in this spontaneous storyline, wasn't it mentioned that the Oratrice was around before the current Archon and was produced by the prior Archon? I can't remember, but I think that's what was said. I could be wrong because I'm stupid and I forget things, so.
You mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
Well, if she created it, and it was meant to work regardless, it was meant to work without the god having any effect on it, and it was meant to just do its job, and that was it. And it just randomly says someone is guilty of something. I don't think it specified that child was guilty of technically anything, but he was guilty nonetheless. Is he guilty of something? Obviously, he's a guilty man. As much as Lumine and him, bang in the bathroom closet, that's besides the fucking thing. But he's guilty of other things. It might have just ruled guilty because he was guilty of other things. I don't know. He did not kidnap or killed any, or get that one woman wet or whatever and turn her into freaking a puddle on the ground, or kill the one guy that tried doing all the other bad things. No, he wasn't guilty of that, obviously, but it was saying he was guilty. Unless that guilty was triggered by Lenny or the Knave just to get child into the prison or something like that, which could, I don't know, but it probably was working independently of Fiorina and Nervalet, simply because that's how its operation was created. Just because she would have created it does not mean she would know why it does what it does necessarily, because it was created to work independently of her and Nervalet. It says it right there, and it said before that it works independently, and usually it comes to the same conclusion as Nervalet. This time it didn't, simply because child was guilty of something. And while it says you can't argue that just because the divine creation is flawed, and the god behind it must also be no god at all. That also makes sense, is because it could be flawed. It could have had a flawed reasoning and judged him guilty for a crime that they're not trying. But just because it found them guilty for something that it wasn't being tried for, doesn't mean that equates to the god is not a god. Yeah, hopefully I'm explaining that correctly, because I fucking don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. I'm going off of what's being said here, and she's technically right at that point, in that argument.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses.
That's not really an excuse.
We won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
That we won't... seems like she's coming to that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power. But she said she created it with independence to her power. So that is a weird line from Paimon. You cannot put Oratrice aside for now, but then Miss Fiorina could give us a brief demonstration of your power as an... Could do that.
Power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I...
You could! It's pretty simple. We've seen it before.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
At least match the capacity of humans with a vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
if that was true, then it makes me really wonder how Furina actually does anything when you have her in your party for the game.
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium!
What does that have anything to do with shit? That has nothing to do with shit. What? I have turned the power of the worshipping into Indemnitium. I'm gonna die of just choking and coughing. What does that have anything to do with what we're asking her to do?
Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
So she's claiming she gave her power away. Oh my god. Oh god, that fucking hurts my brain, dude. No, what?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Exactly.
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
I'd have to do research on that, to be very honest, because I'm very, very certain that there are stories in mythology and religion that could bring up that kind of a query of a god giving up their powers and if they're still being a god. That is something that I'm like 90% certain has been a story beat in mythology and religion before several different times. I can't bring one off the top of my head right now specifically, but I'm very certain that that's actually something that has been brought up in real life before, about a god giving up their power and if they're still a god or not, or if they become mortal. I think there are some in the Greek mythology that there's like a couple, maybe one or two in the Greek mythology, where a god or a demigod has given up their power to become mortal. I'm not really sure. But then again, there are also points like Achilles being technically a god through and through, except for below the ankle, that because he was dipped into the whatever it was called. I can't remember the mythology right now completely, but he was dipped by 1 foot into the water, and it went up to like his ankle, and everything from above that ankle was all godly. He was a complete god, except for his foot right there. And that's why when he got shot in Achilles, he died, because that was the only mortal part of him. But then again, would he be a god? And would his foot just randomly be mortal? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that there are stories. I could probably look it up, but I don't really want to do that at this point in time. But it is an interesting question that this guy is bringing up, because that is a real question that I'm very certain is told in story.
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's.
Hey, come now, everyone.
But it really made no sense to say, I gave up all my power to make everybody happy and whatnot. Like, get the fuck out of here.
The same Farina you knew, right? The one that you love, please.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now?
If we can't prove that she's an Archon, we can try to prove that she is just a human, and if she's only human, then his attorney, though they were cleared of the accusation leveled against the house, truth behind the serial disappearance of a young woman case. Turns out the Fontanians can be dissolved by blah 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 blah. In the Fortress of Meripede, and recently Primordial Sea has nearly broken out with Nervalet. Navia is falling into seawater while exploring only protection of the dead members of the Spina de Rosula prevented her from dissolving. I don't know which one to use. Over the years, Vakar kidnapped and dissolved many young girls for his experiments to try and find a way to bring back his wife who he loved. I don't think that one would make sense either. I might try that one because maybe, but I don't fucking know.
Doesn't sound right.
Randomly pick now.
Been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial.
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before
Yeah,
the
but
President
then
Court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
But then, let's say they splash primordial seawater on Furina, right? If she doesn't dissolve, cool, she's a god. But if she does dissolve, then you've just committed a murder. Technically. Going off what everyone's been saying, that the dissolved people are dead. They've died.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Just now. I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, including those of some of... So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case.
One thing I don't know was she falls into the water. Something happens. Primordial Sea takes over. Everyone gets sucked in and gets dissolved. And then she's crying on a throne. Does she technically, even as an Archon, have protection from the primordial seawater?
But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rosula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is...
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
But even if she's the Archon of Fontaine, she would be Fontanian regardless, right? And if she was cursed... even if she's a cursed human, would it still affect her, even if she's a cursed human who's been living for hundreds of years? And what if she's not even human after all? She touches it, it wouldn't affect her then. So there's other factors that could be brought in, even if she isn't technically the Archon Focalors. There's other factors that could prove that she is, air quote.
Lady Farina,
possibly.
This test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
And as the right she should have, because one, technically, this is self-incrimination, for one, and then two, this is also... could it be considered self-unaliving? You can't say the S word, obviously, because YouTube is weird and doesn't like it, but technically wouldn't it be self-unaliving at that point if she were human? So, would pushing her to touch the water be considered murder or self-unaliving in court? It's a tricky one, and I don't see how not wanting to test it in the fact that even if she is the Archon, that there still might be a chance that the water could affect her.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession.
Not necessarily.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only
Yeah, I would be too if it's a water that can kill people. I'm just saying.
Really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina.
Hey! I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Again, like I said before, it could be a number of other things. Her not actually being a human and being a different species. Two, technically, if she even is an Archon, or not an Archon, she might still not have to be able to... She might still not be able to have it dissolve her regardless. And then three, there's also the fact that she might be cursed. That cursing might prevent her from being affected by the Primordial Sea. So either she's an Archon, she's not an Archon but a different species, not an Archon but from a different land, or an Archon and from a different land, or she could just be cursed and the curse prevents her from being dissolved by the Primordial Sea.
Miss Siegewing? If you're present, Miss Siegewing, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewing? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate
That she was nervous.
She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater.
She was doing that beforehand. What? She was doing it before. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as the other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration. She was doing that beforehand. Who brought Sedgwin in? Because she's not being an expert in testifying here. If I was the defendant's lawyer, I'd be like, bitch, did you just see her also hyperventilating before she touched the water? Because she was a bit nervous before and breathing hard and flushed beforehand. You stupid fish person. Because they were literally just showing her breathing heavily, being very nervous before putting her hand in the water. But now you're saying that before she even touched the water, she was being affected by the primordial seawater. Okay. Sure. Why the fuck? Fuck it. Well, biology doesn't fucking matter. Let's go with that.
Thank you, Miss Siegewing. Lady Farina.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to this.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness.
But that would not... Your expert witness, again, was saying that she was having hyperventilation and looked flushed when she was having those issues before she touched the water. And she wasn't after. She wasn't breathing fucking hard that much harder after. So, no, your expert witness is fucking stupid. You secured a low concentration sample. Who fucking tested that? Who risked their fucking life? Who had the balls to touch the fucking water to make sure it was a low enough concentration? How many people did they lose testing that? I want to know, because at that point, I can't believe anything on the prosecution at that point. Because that's stupid. Yeah, so out of regard of Furina's life, you secured a low concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as expert witness. Are you fucking kidding me? No. How do you know it was low concentration? Who put their fucking hand in there and made sure to test that? Who had the goddamn balls to stick their hand in that water? I want to know, because that's some fucking lying ass bullshit. That's like this sick week where one of the guys did the $7,500 drag car challenge and bought a Nissan 240 with an LS swap already in there. Already, that chassis is going to be a $10,000 to $15,000 chassis before the LS is put inside there. And the swap for the LS is kind of expensive itself. That was not... He lied his fucking teeth out. Everybody knew. He fucking jerked the guy off under the table to fucking get that deal and gave him some other stuff going on after the fact. This is some low-rent, fake-ass bullshit right here.
It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could... I can't...
Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful look. Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be...
That's also what I was saying. How can't... Because I don't think it says anywhere in the mythology or the prediction that the Archon in Archon can't be affected by the primordial seawater. It is the primordial seawater, and she's not the original Archon. She would technically be a second generation Archon, like most of the other Archons. She's not the original. I would understand the primordial seawater being affecting the original Archons, not affecting the original Archons, but affecting the second generation Archons that aren't technically the children of the original Archon. If I understand correctly, that they're just born and became an Archon or some shit like that, that the power was thrust upon them from some mystical force or whatever. Because, from what I understand in the story, she's not the daughter of an Archon. And that's the same thing for some of the other Archons as well. So, how can we conclusively prove that the Archon can't? Unless they have fucking somewhere in the storyline.
Also, if I was really just a human, what...
People have already given up on her anyways. And now she's gonna fucking cry.
Listen to me. I swear, I really am your...
I'm not defending that she is the Archon at all. I'm meaning, like, the things that are going on makes no sense. The trick that they did, not gonna happen. The touching the water makes no sense. The arguments are kind of redonkulously stupid as well.
At this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Hyman doesn't think there's any way.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections,
They're gonna come to the final judgment and they're gonna say she's not, regardless. To be fair, I'm pretty sure he already was going to say she's not. And now she's having a panic attack. See, this is what I was meaning. She's having a panic attack already because she's losing all the people now. But she was having a panic attack before she even touched the water, which would cause her skin to be flush and her to hyperventilate.
in my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty.
I like how it also continued on playing without me having auto on. So what are they gonna do? Throw her in jail?
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal to render the final verdict on the charges.
Like I said, I'm still kind of interested in how or who she really is technically, because like I said, I was technically spoiled. Eagles or Chiefs?
Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal.
Let me try to pause this before. That does that. Chiefs or Eagles? I would rather the Eagles win, but I know the Chiefs are going to win, dude. I was supposed to make my video doing like the score prediction and my slide prediction as well today, but I got busy with work. I'm going to make that tomorrow so I can upload tomorrow evening, which is gonna be fun. I'm gonna do score prediction and then like the other thing we've already talked about. But I still think it's gonna happen. I would rather the Eagles win, is all I can say right now. But I'm pretty goddamn certain it's gonna be the Chiefs. Texans, Texans are going to win, obviously. It's gonna be Texans with their awesome, amazing quarterback that can play every single goddamn position all at the same time, who wins every games. Ha! Oratrice Mécanique, Oratrice Mécanique, Oratrice Mécanique, goddamn fuck! Friday! Yeah, Bruno, I know it's Friday for you. It's not Friday for me yet. I still got 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 hours. JJ Watt's not coming back, unfortunately. He's done. He died for our sins. Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal. It's too French, I can't say it.
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
That's technically what would happen. They would be put to death. That's how that would be ruled, actually. What the fuck? Also, a hat dropping in the French means a head dropping. Well, yeah, but that is how that would work. If they find the ruler guilty like that of really any crime, to be very honest, throughout history, the ruler would be put to death. And it's happened a lot. And considering she's being accused of being guilty of fraud even though it's saying the Hydro Archon is guilty and to be punished via the death sentence, that would also ring true as well, because other people who have claimed to be gods have been put to death. Those who've claimed to be royalty and it found out later that they weren't actually royalty were also put to death. And this has happened for thousands of years, so in real life. So it makes sense that the punishment for being guilty of fraudulently claiming to be the Hydro Archon and fooling people for generations makes sense to put her to death, but it's still wild. Yeah, they have. It's crazy for them.
The death sentence?
I doubt anyone has heard it give out the death sentence in a while either.
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
If we go by history, yes. If we go by history, yes. At least actual real-world history, then the crime of fraudulently claiming to be a god and or a royal is usually death. Fuck. Don't spoil it and tell me I'm gonna cry. I most likely will cry. I'm more shocked that the Oratrice came out with the fucking death sentence. I didn't know that they were actually gonna go that fucking hard.
Even Mache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
What's strange is, instead of Furina, the Oratrice rendered the judgment on the Hydro Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Has somebody affected the Oratrice then? Is that strange?
Excuse me.
Because I'm stupid. He's gonna say that they fuck things. I was told that she's not folklores and that they're different people, but like that's because somebody decided that they didn't want to heed my pleas of please don't spoil it, and they decided to spoil that anyways. Like a fucking dickhead, to be very honest. So I know that part, and I can understand that part, but what's confusing to me is if she's not the Hydro Archon, and she can't use Hydro power, why can she use the Hydro power or Hydro abilities in the game when you have her in your party? It's what I'm still not getting yet. If she's just a cursed human like they're claiming or whatever in the game, how is she still able to use the Hydro Archon abilities, you know? Please don't tell me. Please. Let me find out.
Fremine, you finally made it. I assume...
Any mission Father assigns to me.
I will find out.
Is that the first prophecy slate?
Oh, they found it. Unless it's a fraudulent slate.
So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then...
Don't worry, the mystery hasn't been resolved yet. You still not too late for you to shine.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left up.
Well, he should have the ability to be able to read it, so.
That you have already seen the other existing slates. With I'd like you to
I
come
will
here
definitely
and
try to do
confirm
her
the
story quest
contents.
because I do like Fiorina. She's adorable. She's adorable in a dorky way because she's kind of a dork, but she's not like in a rude way. I'm not using dork in a rude way, but kind of like in she's a quirky little thing kind of a way, if you know what I mean. So I'm not using dorky as like a derogatory term. I'm using it more of she's kind of in a sense Twilight Sparkle, if you know what I mean. That's all I'm saying. Previous Hydro Archon releasing her divine power, turning the oceans into human beings.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's...
Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people?
Wait, no, that's Fiorina.
Oh, wait,
Already proven that she's not.
that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kind of talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to
And
the
she
contents of
likes
these stone
macaroni
slates.
plus.
However,
I've seen on repeat in
uncertain
my
as
head.
to how much
Same girls.
sense they currently make to you.
What do you mean, same girl? Same. What do you mean?
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other three.
The contents of the other 3 stones. Oh, great. Yes. Now I have to frickin' do this part again, which is going to be understanding. So. Okay.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into human. Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this...
That's what happens when the primordial sea hits them. They turn back into what they once were.
Slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing?
Which is kind of curious because the Fontanians didn't do anything technically to have an original sin. They just came to be.
Into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and they didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did they?
Somewhere in 2 days,
That incident,
Fontaine
it
says
was
something
just
about
a
my social life.
question of when,
I think
not if.
maybe, or that you were just skipping through everything and you were just like not really caring too much about the story, and you were like going through and absolutely smashing the storyline with like high level characters and whatnot. But I don't think it says anything about your social life really. I just don't. I just usually only have like maybe if I'm lucky, like 5 hours a week to play this game, and then I have other games I want to play. And then I'm also trying to understand the storyline itself, so I'm taking my time and trying to like burn into my brain to kind of understand if I can, because usually I forget things within like a day because head injuries, you know, and ADHD don't help. All right. Oh god, I gotta do it this way. Shit. Yeah, he.
Sound quite...
Shut up, Paimon.
We know from and the first stone slate tells us that long ago the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This
A lot
might
of the
be
songs
reason
now. I
that
think I'm
Fontanians
just
were
scroll.
dissolved.
You might be. You might be a scroll addict. I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna go pee before I continue this because I gotta go. It's 9:20. I gotta pee. I'll be right back and I'll continue this and hopefully we figure things out. And also that scene when the humans turned into oceans thing was kind of creepy with the way they were acting. And then the scene with Navi as well. That was a bit creepy. But I'll be right. Also, I used to have interlude BRB music, but I found out recently that the app that I was using to get that music from was using AI generated music. So I decided, you know, I'm not going to use that anymore. So, yeah, that's why I don't have any more BRB music anymore until I find new music that I can use that is royalty free. Or I make music myself, which I probably will not do because I really don't know how. For some reason, I remember a lot of songs. Oops, press K2. Yeah. Yeah. That's a little bit much on the K's. I'm just saying. No, damn it. I'm just guessing at this point.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilet mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates. It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness
Twisted
was
Wonderland?
subject to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around.
What
the
is
Hydro
Twisted
Archon
Wonderland?
in the sea.
Is it like a animated show, a game, something in this game? 'Cause I don't recognize what Twisted Wonderland is.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. If we hadn't dealt with it in time...
So what does that have to do with anything on explaining stuff?
Dissolve into the primordial sea, but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater.
And they turn into oceanids, which yes, that makes sense. We've already seen that.
The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The stone slate's content can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
Disney game about hot villains turned human, Sally. It's not a dating sim, more like a therapy. Damn it! Why you gotta ruin it like that? As soon as you said it, it was like hot villains turned human. Oh man, you got me excited for a minute there. It's just like, it's not a dating sim, more like therapy. So I have to wait for the anime in October or read the manga. So wait, it is a game, but it's gonna have an anime and a manga for it? That's insane. But you could also try using a VPN to skirt around it, possibly, because apparently people are doing that lately again. Melissa starts flirting sometimes in the game. I'm gonna have to look into that. Come on, like a little bit of flirty action kind of is kind of fun, you know, kind of fun. Just a little bit fun, you know. I can get down with some of that.
Oh, Paimon gets it now. So that's how you... But then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Birth Slate reveals that.
Incredible. We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater.
Manga is on the Scarabia Plus, and I think it's available in America as well. It might be. I would have to look, but I don't know if it is or not, because I've never heard of it until now, so...
Everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
So it reveals the crime of Hydro Archon was her creation of the Fontanians from the Oceanids.
Follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
But I have a
And yes,
question
after
that
many
comes
hundreds of
around
years,
with that.
the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea?
Connect to America since it's basically on the other side of the planet for me, and I go insane from the Japanese and the JP Twist server. Oh.
Built in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make it.
I'm still very confused on this.
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind.
But
however, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids.
But
of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea.
But that makes no sense still. Oh yeah, the oceans are pretty. That's nuts true, but
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
but what makes no sense is none of these people were alive when they were supposedly originally created, and their great grandparents were the ones that came from being Oceanids to being humans. So why are they still considered Oceanids then, unless the Oceanids mating as humans created other Oceanids, and those Oceanid children still had also the same primordial sea flowing through their blood? I would assume that over time they would start showing more Oceanid features, you know, dilution of the primordial seawater inside the veins. But you don't see that? Because they're getting further and further away from the original sin or the original creation of the this new human species or new human line or whatever. They're getting further and further away, depending on how long ago it was. We could say it's at least 500 years because, you know, the original Hydro Archon's the one that did it, and Fiorina claims that she's 500 years old. I would assume that they're at least a 500-year-old species or whatever. So I'm confused as to how none of them would be showing any signs of being Oceanids at that point, because there would be dilution of their species. They would technically be a different species other than humans still, regardless, because they wouldn't be sharing the same DNA as the humans. And then again, there's also Fontanians who have had children with non-Fontanians, would those children not be Oceanids or affected? If you were born in Fontaine, but your family moved there, would you be a Oceanid? Or were it just people of the original Fontanian bloodline? Because some people were born there, weren't originally from there. I would fucking assume, based on people being able to travel and it being over 500 years. More than 500 years since. Yeah, exactly. So there should be over 500 years of people moving in and out, new people being birthed here and there, and mixing the bloodline, with outsiders, and the pure dilution of the primordial sea within their systems. I'm still very confused with all that. Maybe I guess also Tyvek logic, yeah, actually, that makes more sense. Maybe more than 500 years since Agaria was before folklores. So in a nutshell, spontaneous combustion into water is what they do. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, how would bewildered audience member number 1 be an Oceanid, per se? Hear me out. She is probably the 10th generation of Fontanian member. 10 generations of Fontanians over 500 years approximately. I can't really guarantee how long their lifespan is and like how many generations would actually be within those 500 years. I'm just hazarding just a random number. 500 since like 10 generations, 10 people since that happened or whatever. Since they became humans. At least one person in their line might have had intercourse with a non-Fontanian, and she could have had mixed bloodline right there. If she's of mixed blood, does that mean she's an Oceanid? Even if it's one little bit, and the rest of her bloodline was Fontanian, is she an Oceanid now that she has a little bit in there? And if she did have non-Fontanian blood in her, how would that make any sense for them to be able to have offspring if technically they aren't actually humans? They're Oceanids in disguise as humans. If you think about it logically a little bit more, some very questionable things start coming along. Would it be considered bestiality for me to have intercourse with her? That is a question. That is a legitimate question now. If she is technically an Oceanid, a water spirit, is that technically not me having intercourse with a person? Is that technically me having intercourse with like an animal or something? That's what the question becomes at that point. And then even if it is or not, would they be able to procreate? I'm trying to use scientific terms just so I don't make it sound as dirty as possible, but procreation, how would that work in that sense? Is the original sin, the Celestia said, "No, what, fuck it. You have all the abilities of a person until you touch the primordial sea again, and then you turn back." I need to know more because this is weird. It's weird. Fishality. What if the Oceanid souls, when they die, they go into another body or something? That's what I mean. Like, how does it work? How does it work? Because we do know when they turn back into, when they get dissolved, they become Oceanids, and some of them even go into becoming one Oceanid. Like with Vakar. All the women he tested became a single Oceanid. That doesn't make sense either. If they're all supposed to be a single Oceanid themselves, how did they come together and become one Oceanid? I was originally under the assumption that it was vengeful spirit. It was them being vengeful spirits at that point, and then becoming an Oceanid out of the need of vengeance against Vocalors. But apparently that's not the case. Every Fontanian's an Oceanid. So then how they become a single Oceanid, unless maybe that Oceanid was split up? Maybe that's how some of them came to be. But then in the courtroom, everybody was a different one. There was all of them were different Oceanids in that courtroom when Navia was dropped in the primordial sea water and was having that trial. That raises more questions. It raises so many questions. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just it's making my head hurt a little bit just trying to rationalize how any of this makes any sense then.
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
But it wasn't her sin. It was the previous Archon. Oh my god.
This really might be too much information.
I don't know anymore, dude. Like I've said before, the storyline in this game sometimes makes perfect sense and other times is just out of fucking goddamn left field and it confuses the shit out of me. Yeah. Also, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are in fact correct. So they're in the right order. What is the third slate supposed to represent then?
The key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids.
What?
They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy,
It was part of the prophecy.
everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
So that comes back to my original assumption. The prophecy would include Lumin and Paimon. Because... God damn it.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Yeah.
I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions.
Oh, great.
Fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the... However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come.
Awesome. Awesome.
As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
Oh, great. The okay, just what the true source of the catastrophe is.
Warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
Alright. I'm just gonna start guessing here.
It was both dream and reality.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
I fucking guessed that correct first try. I was not expecting them to do that, but you know, I guessed correct somehow.
The original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Okay, cool. I guessed that, and I freaking was correct. See, Gary, I am a brilliant person. I am so smart that my... Oh, wait, actually, never mind. I guess because we figured it out, now it's gonna... The world's gonna end and everyone's gonna turn into fish. Yep, here we go. The world's gonna turn into fish because of a giant freaking whale. Or is that a catfish? I'm not really sure. I'm very confusing. It's the whale. It's the people who spend thousands of these games. It's the whale of the people who spend billions of dollars on the. I think it's like the figure was like millions of dollars being spent on this game worldwide by. Child! Tartaglia. He's alive! Technically, I think he escaped the whales, you know, thing or whatever. Now Lumion gets her boyfriend back, I guess. Am I swearing in the back? Dude, I've been swearing this whole entire time because it's just like ridiculous. Tartaglia. Oh dang, he was waiting to get his dick sucked by that blonde-haired lady of his, but no. Weak for fun with collecting stuff. I've tried to do that, and I never get anything good. It's just consistently just like the same. I get like 4,000 Mora, some XP, character XP, and then like a couple 2-star freaking artifacts. I don't know why people do it. I really don't. I don't understand if I'm doing something wrong, because every time I've gone up against doing the weekly child raid, I get nothing out of it. Like literally nothing. And it upsets me. Am I doing it wrong? Because I think I'm doing it right, but I'm very concerned that I'm doing it wrong.
At last. I understand very well why it is chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea...
So we're going to assume that the prophet who prophesized all this happening was kind of stupid and, you know, misjudged what the prophecy was actually supposed to mean, aka the oh God, there's certain things I want to how to explain it, but I'm gonna have to say it in a very correct, politically correct way so I don't get in trouble because YouTube and people. The people who spend money that are whales are the ones who brought this upon them. It was not prophesized because they missed the prophecy of the whales coming in and actually destroying the game. With all the freaking money that they're putting into it. But to be fair, it is a free-to-play game, so they had to monetize somehow, and they are putting out some high-quality content, so can't really complain.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh
It's based on luck, and my luck is shite.
Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's...
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him...
Technically, Tartaglia isn't Fontanian, so it's not going to be able to eat him, I would assume, maybe? The special connection to that whale is people actually paying to try to get him. So Aniplex Japan has so much goal for giving us shirtless character in the manga. What character in what manga, and why are they shirtless? Because to be honest, I've seen several shirtless characters in manga, be it male and female. Though some of those were doujins, so the shirtless seems a bit more spicy.
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself.
So we gotta fight the sea!
Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something I will accept.
And what you gonna do, bitch?
We've already done everything we can. We've come so far.
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
Oh, book 2, Seven Claw of Twisted Wonderland. Oh.
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the god's gaze does not fall? Ultimately,
Isn't this what N was saying
serve as
out
our
of the
only
teacup?
guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future.
All you need to do is your part. Could it be that even if the prophecy will be fulfilled, there will still be a way to save everyone? Possibly. There's always a way. I missed something. Was that she wanted to say to me at the last moment in the gigantic box? Yeah, well, we didn't know because, you know, technically you decided no, we should kill her. Actually, the Oratrice is starting to do something.
What's happening with the Oratrice?
I believe it is preparing to kill.
God, well, now she's about to fucking die. And she's severely depressed now.
No, I still need answers.
Wait, so the Hex Circle speaking is the Kingslayer. Hexen Circle speaking. I got another. I don't have another Violet. Oh, great. What is fucking happening?
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
Now I'm gonna be here for a little bit, obviously.
Who are you?
Was that doesn't that mean
Sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor. Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded.
Yeah, I know you knew this, but I only knew a little bit. I didn't know she's also flat as a fucking board. God dang it.
That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean.
I'm not disrespecting her. I'm just saying her chest is the same as Navia's, and that's kind of, you know, not something you really want to look at. You want to be more like, okay, you deserve head pats than, you know, hey, you want to get a drink. So now, me questioning why that one YouTuber says that that's his wife or whatever makes me question what he's into and what he looks at in his spare time. I'm just saying. Or she could be a femboy.
Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian
Femboy
duties
smash.
of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original.
Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I dare say she left me quite
Oh, she sent a video. Probably of her at MegaCon. My friend Michaela, little sister basically. She's at MegaCon for the full 4 days of MegaCon, which is absolutely insane. But she's got money, I don't, so I can only go Saturday.
Once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now.
Did she just say that she's also an Oceanid?
To be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina.
Probably delusional. I'm kind of confused. I need to review. Prophecy to be fulfilled sustainably at least, while saving everyone at the same time. Oh, genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although looking back now, it was hardly an inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me a quite colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt, obviously. I did not choose this any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars. So you were once one of the Oceanids, transformed into human by Egeria's hand. Yes, I always dreamed of becoming a human, and I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day. The me you see before you now is that divinity, and the human counterpart I left behind I named Farina. So she separated the divinity from the body and the spirit. So this is just her power in total. The godly power is what we see in front of us, not the human and not the spirit. And because she was also created from an Oceanid, even then, if she even stayed in her body, if she stayed in the body of Fiorina, because apparently she is she was Fiorina in body and soul, but separated herself or her power from the body and soul. Even if she was in the body, if the deity Folklores was within the human body, she would still then be affected by the primordial sea. So regardless of what touching the fucking water would have done, she still would have been affected because she is still an Oceanid. Even if she is the current Archon. So touching the water meant nothing because regardless, like I said before, one of the 3 different things it could have been is that the frickin' Archon still would be affected by the primordial seawater. And she would have, regardless. Oh my fucking god. So, it's still weird that she is the divinity of the power, like just the power, the Archon power itself, in the form of a human. But I would assume it would have been more the soul separating itself from the body. Kind of like a puppet. Kind of like I and Raiden Shogun. I would assume, because that was similar to how that worked. If I remember correctly. So as a human, I cannot comprehend the difference between divinity, the body, and the soul. I can't comprehend that. Similar to trying to comprehend the Holy Trinity and how that makes any sense of the Holy Trinity being separate but the same thing. I'm just confused. I'm just so very confused.
Joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be.
But then that also says that she technically is actually the Archon and not technically a human. She is a human, but she's also not a human. But then she's technically also the Archon, while also technically not being the Archon, because she is the Archon's body and soul, but without the Archon's divinity.
Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone.
Still so fucking goddamn confused.
In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress. To play the part of
Oh, I already had the top off, okay.
In the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass.
So I'm still very confused
I suppose
then.
now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years. And
But if-
all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long.
But if she is her in human form, in a sense, but not actually, then that would contradict what was said earlier, technically, as well. So is she Focalor's in human form, but without Focalor's mind and divinity being there? Then what is Furina technically then? Because she's saying that Furina is human, but cursed to live forever and cursed to technically portray Focalors. But if she's not, just like I did with the Ocean and Fontaine of Lucian, could this be Furina's inner world? Like the reflection of her inner self. Can directly speak to that self. Might be easy to get what I want to know. I came here for answers. Either way, this opportunity is not to be missed. Let me try to. I should be ending the stream, but I need to continue knowing more. Especially now that I'm even more confused than I was before. And I can't technically leave this area. I have to stay here. And I'm still questioning how Furina has abilities to do anything if she is not an Archon. If she's not the Archon, she's just simply human and she doesn't have the ability to use any powers based on what we can infer from the trial. God damn, I got something in my throat now. It's tickling my throat. Fiorina, talk to Fiorina. Let's go.
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my... All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must...
God. I got tickle in my throat. Fiorina crying only when not in the spotlight makes me cry more. Story quest, unless you want me to spoil. I have to continue. God dang it. Can't do the story quest just yet.
Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but
Awesome.
worry not. The guards shall resolve as soon as.
Oh shit! This guy's fucking fast. Okay. Fuck it. Big guns.
Feeling lucky? Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards?
There is. Okay, it's. It won't let me switch! Son of a bitch!
There is no escape.
Feeling lucky?
Let me heal up real quick, because I know I'm going to have to fight more, so fuck it. Who must I fight next? A ticket. A ticket? Oh, great. Another spotlight. Oh, wait, no, it's a ticket to the play. Before a mirror, a Fiorina. Oh, great, now I gotta be... Okay. Oh, God, itching my nut. I'm having a bad time here. To Fiorina's sorrows. Is this where I'm gonna start crying? Is this where I'm gonna cry my eyes out? I held it in the last couple couple storylines in the game. Will this be the one where I finally cry again on stream? So I haven't cried in a little bit on stream because of sadness. I think the last time I cried was the end of Dark Cloud.
Mirror me? How can this be? Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Oh, wait. I know. I think... I don't know why, but it's... in my... The people will all be dissolved into the waters. And only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne.
Oh.
Like, I did get really close for Nahida's storyline, though. I did get close, so I'm just saying.
I can't seem to remember anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared.
But doesn't that
mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontanian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness,
Hope, but
frighten me.
is hope good or is it hope possibly bad hope? Because there's two different kinds of hope.
Suffering. Well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world, if there
So I'm
was
gonna
chaos
have a question. Is she gonna get hydropower after this or something? If she survives it or whatever?
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to
Portraying
be.
the greatest acting gig of all time.
I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be.
And I know I'm starting to quiet down a little bit, but I'm trying to like understand the story a little bit, and this is like, I think, showing the origin of Fiorina's curse.
I'm still not sure I understand, but... So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
So then she predicted way back 500 plus years ago when she originally told or gave Fiorina the role of Hydra Archon. She knew the trial was going to happen. A magnificent trial.
A trial? Huh. How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it.
I don't think she was looking forward to it though. Let's be fucking real. She was not happy. She was not happy during that trial. Unless it's a trial and tribulation and not actually a actual trial. She probably wasn't. Probably not, you know, but still.
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people.
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my ascension.
What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I am. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I
proud dialogue. I'll try to do that. Hopefully it's not a bad thing. You know, I will put my trust and my faith in you like I would put my faith in the Hydra Archon herself.
In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you all. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of fairness and justice. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will require us to work together, after all. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have
Great.
thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-backed puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone so...
Kind of be too expected, and that's again another thing throughout history that has happened when someone came out claiming to be a god or god. People would question it and throw shade, and you know, eventually, you know, people would die because, you know, people didn't like it and thought it was blasphemous. So it makes sense that people would be speaking against her being the new Archon.
One who can dispel all doubt. That... Oh, very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would also.
So she's definitely trying now.
Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
God, I want to roll my eyes so hard because it's kind of...
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful.
how they just fucking rolled. They just rolled over and said, you know what? We believe her now.
Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech.
Pick proud. Summon courage resolutely with conviction. I would assume that's proud.
My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice.
I would assume.
We have heard it said that this nation
Yeah, they're scaredy cats.
will no longer be washed away. Well, the scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice.
Yeah, they were just like instantly, as soon as she started talking, they were just like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
May law be the prayer on our lips. May justice
They completely folded.
our worship. Let us... There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you, my people, to believe in it.
But to be fair, this sounds like Furina that we've come to know and love when it comes to the story. The polite and earnest Furina wasn't the Furina that you would see. That's not how she was acting. So it makes more sense to go with those routes because that's how she was acting. Or how she was being portrayed throughout the storyline already. So it makes sense to have like that go through with the proud dialogue. Compared to the soft-spoken, enthusiastic, happy, youthful, nice version. that she started off with, and that you could choose to do again. But what's with the bed? On stage, what's with the bed? Kind of concerned about the bed.
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now. Was I not just at the Opera House in person? Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things.
That's true. I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright. And do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now. Do your duties.
It resents her act with her whole 500 years. Well, it does, because, like, how she acts currently, or was acting currently before the trial, is how I would assume you would have to act her in the beginning, like, in that ascension ceremony. That's how she probably would act, and she would keep that act up. So I would assume that picking the pride act, like the pride choices, makes the most sense for her character, because when she did use a soft, empathetic, sweet and kind, polite version of what she wanted to be, who she is, she was met with jeers and hate. So go bold, be tough, be enthusiastic and prideful. It worked. It works. And till the very day, she was still being prideful and over the top and overt. That's what she is today, so it would make more sense to continue, or to pick all those options to go with, because that's how she learned to become, or how she decided to become the ruling lady.
Need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead.
Wish I could do that.
Long
Not the
have
prideful part.
you struggled to meet me, have you not?
It's not that hard
I'm afraid that's just
with
an
practice.
inevitable consequence of my
Like, you can do it if you practice, like, say, in the mirror, or say, like, doing this right here, and, like, streaming, and just talking to a camera and a microphone and people. You can summon up the courage with practice in any form and be able to act prideful, or, like, happy or joyful or saddened. It's a learned thing you can do. Not, to be fair, not everyone can do it, per se. It's very hard to do, but it's something you can learn to do and learn to overcome
Please do not hesitate to come
slowly over time if you put effort into it.
every so often, while not usual practice, should serve as a fine change of pace.
Well, that's why I did this. Why I started streaming like this and got a camera and a microphone, because like I said before, I was beaten into submission and beaten into being an introvert myself, and being quiet and shy and not wanting to do anything. It's taken 15 years to get out of that shell, but, you know, I finally think I'm starting to break out of it. And now I can go Saturday to MegaCon and not be as bad as I used to be. I couldn't even do a small gathering with friends without being in a corner or hiding away somewhere else away from everybody. I wasn't able to talk to people face to face or look people in the eyes. Now I can. It's something that you can work through, and you can better get to at some point if you keep working on it. If you work on it, you can slowly get out of it and at least become a little bit less uncomfortable. To be fair, I also have a job that I deal with customers on a daily basis, and you have to look in them in the eyes, and you have to talk with them all the time, and you can't just hide away. But I've been doing this before I have the job I've been doing now, and I still think using this and using the camera and the microphone makes it so much easier. It brings the ability to talk to people a little bit easier. It's kind of a crutch because I'm not actually looking at you. I'm looking at a camera that you're looking at on the screen here, and I'm not technically speaking directly to you, and you're not technically speaking directly back at me. But in my mind, it works. It works. It's kind of nice that I can do this and one, be a bit introverted, but also two, still be extroverted and socialize in a sense. It's still socializing.
Lady Farina, you're the latest
Which is kind of a symptom of technically being extroverted too. Or it's a personality trait, which I can't remember all of them, but kind of Dandere, if you know what I mean, being shy in the beginning, and then once you meet somebody that you care about or people you care about, you can open up and be much more of a flower of socializing. Kind of think Hinata from Naruto. She was very shy, very quiet, very to herself. She fell in love with Naruto. She made friends with her group, which I can't remember her entire group. And then she became more talkative and social and was able to communicate with other people after building up the courage and being able to understand people. That's kind of how it seems. Very comfortable with someone as I start opening and cussing with that too. that also works too.
I see. It's as I thought then.
But like I said, this helps. Like I said, if I didn't start doing this and I didn't get a job where I had to talk to people every day, I probably would still be always in my room and not wanting to talk to anybody, and not go anywhere, and not try to go out and enjoy my life.
That's not something you need to worry about right now.
What also helps is I did buy a car that is very, very much an attention getter, and someone always comes and asks me questions when they see me driving, so that also helps. There's many things you can do to help get yourself out of being super introverted and at least get a little less introverted. Like I said, this, getting a job and forcing yourself to do it, changing your hair color, or getting a vehicle like I do that is weird and quirky and makes people question. There's all sorts of different things you can do to kind of break out of your shell just a little bit, or at least crack it, and so you can peek out of the hole. You don't have to like break out completely, but you know what I mean. It can make your life a little bit easier.
The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time, but it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going, and everyone will be saved. All right, Farina, don't think too hard about it.
Well enough yet to get my hair done. That's fair. That's fair. What I'm meaning still stands. Like, there's things you can do that can help you be more social, which is good.
I've seen them already. There's no need to go back over scenes I've witnessed in person before.
Lady Farina, I've waited so...
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment is an honor for us both.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the Institute. I don't think I let anything slip today. I must show...
I'm not saying that per se either, but changing up your clothing just a little bit here and there maybe could help being more social. Changing the design of what's on the shirt could help a little bit. I'm not saying you should. I'm saying that it could like changing certain things up could possibly help lead to you being more social or helping you get people to talk to you more and get more of the practice of looking at people in the eyes, being able to talk with them more openly about random subjects. Though, to be honest, there's also a really, really easy way to get around talking to people. You let them do the talking. That is my secret right there. You let the people do the talking. You just nod and basically say, yep, mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I believe that. Yes, sir. All those kind of things. Just nod and wave. Just nod and wave, kind of a thing. If you let other people talk for you, it works every time. You can get through some hard conversations by letting other people talk your ear off sometimes and just nod and agree and not really engage too much other than looking at them and just nodding with a smile and being and seeming like you're in agreement with whatever they're saying. A lot of the times you wouldn't have to put any input in, and eventually they'll say their goodbyes and you get to walk away without having to say pretty much anything. So seeing, yeah, that's the one step I need to talk to people more. Yes, I also let people talk and say, okay, yeah, it's kind of it's kind of like a baby little crutch. It's not a great thing to do, but it's kind of a good way to get around socializing in a way. You can still look them in the eyes. You can still mutter words, but you're letting them do all the work, and you're just sitting back, just standing there a little bit awkwardly. But it works. It's how you can get around some situations, and I still do it today when a customer is absolutely talking my ear off about their life and explaining how they are and whatnot. Like, for example, today, a customer was waiting while their radio and door speakers were being put in their vehicle by one of my employees. So I'm doing nothing at that point in time. So I'm walking around and the customer grabs my attention and starts talking to me about his car, then his life, and then what he used to do, what he does now, and all I'm doing there is smiling, nodding, and just saying, yep, oh, that's cool, that's interesting. And putting small little bits, like small little sentences in there. Like saying, he's talking about horses, and like, yeah, then the horse stomped on my foot, and like, oh, yeah, no, that definitely had to hurt then, especially if it's holding you there. It's like, yeah, it held me there, and it hurt like a mofo, and I had to wait for somebody to come and get the horse off. And just adding some tiny little sentences here and there, asking small questions, keeps them going and keeps them talking and keeps them being the ones going on with it. So you don't have to, all you have to do is just like kind of like slightly listen and tune everything else out, and they'll just keep going. It's kind of rude, yes, but it works. It really does work. My face is substitutes, basically you can see my emotion. Yeah, well, to be fair, a lot of people with ADHD / head injuries / other things going on, people who are introverts who don't really want to be in the situation, we usually have just the same kind of face. And I'll let you know, I might sound like I want to unalive myself sometimes on here. That's not me doing that on purpose or wanting to. That's just my natural tone and inflection. It's flat. It's just very flat. And when I'm just resting face, it looks like I'm upset or sad or something. That's just how it is. You can still get out of that a little bit by when you get engaged in a conversation with somebody, immediately just like flip the switch and just start smiling. Just smile. Doesn't matter if you're happy or not, or if you're feeling it, just pull up a smile. It kind of works a little bit. You don't feel happy, you're faking a smile, but a lot of the times people don't really freaking understand that you are faking the smile. Because if they think you have resting bitch face and you're just neutral mood, you're just like You have no emotion at that point in time. You're not thinking happy, sad, mad thoughts, and your face looks just like all the time. Just give it a little smile. They're not going to tell the difference. Trust me, they're not. Worse for me to just smile when my smile looks like a dead lion face. Then, even then, if it's just like a, even if your smile is just like, it's like a little, it's still better than a frown. And some people just will take even that little tiny, little itty bitty smile and take that as a big smile. And it's acting. Technically, you're acting. You're an actor or an actress. Congratulations. But it's good to do and it's good to practice because you can get through.
Really now? This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters, can I?
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh, Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it. Honored indeed.
That made me a bit uncomfortable right there, to be honest. Getting bullied literally have got me to not getting bullied literally happened to me. I'm kind of confused on that sentence. So, did it help you not get bullied, or did it help you get bullied? Because I'm confused.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more. I never imagined that it would hurt so much.
It's also kind of sad. Just stray away from the topic that we were talking about faking emotion and stuff, and trying to get out of being an introvert and introverted shell. Living forever or being cursed to be alive for a very long time is a miserable experience. It would be. And to be honest, that might be what gets me to cry more than anything on this so far. Because the understanding of, based on story and whatnot, of other stories, and how it's explained of immortality, it's a sad thing. You're living forever, and generally the people you care for and love will always be gone, and your life is longer than anybody else's. It's like, for example, Frieren at the end of her journey, or I think that's how the title of the anime is called. In the Frieren anime and / manga, she's an elf that's lived for 1,000 years. The life of Himmel, the hero, was not but a fleeting memory. He lived for like 60, 70 years. Out of her 1,000 years, it was nothing. It was gone in an instant. And that's how the story explained it within the first episode of the anime. They started their adventure, and then it was basically over just like that. For her, immortality or living a long-ass time, the love she could have had was gone in an instant. The friends she had, gone in an instant. And for Fiorina here, she's here for 500 years. Everyone she knows, everyone she cared about, everyone she sees is gone. The daily life of an Archon is the same every single day. And that's what was shown there. Every single day was the same thing. And she couldn't talk to anybody about that. Because if you're living forever, guess what? You can't tell anybody you are, really. Because as soon as you do, they're either going to have pity or they're going to try to do experiments. So you're alone. You'll forever be alone because no one else can live as long as you. Everyone will die before they even get a chance. You'll fall in love, and the perception of time for you will be completely different. By the time you realize what's happening, the person you just loved is an old person who is on their deathbed. That's the same thing like I was saying with Frieren. She couldn't even realize her emotions of Himmel the hero. She couldn't realize that he loved her and that she might have loved him. She could not realize that. She didn't even realize that he fucking technically proposed with that ring. God dang it. That was adorable. And he knew, she didn't. He was in love. She didn't know what love was. And Fiorina has to deal with this. She has to deal with everybody around her dying, her living forever, her being alone, and nobody being able to be there for her in these times. And not even being able to tell anybody because she was told not to tell anybody. She's alone. That aloneness is an evil force on the soul, on the mind, the body, the heart. That's what's sad. She'll forever be alone, and there's no one that's ever going to be able to be there with her. And it'd be funny, she thinks that 100 years have already gone, hundreds of years have gone past. It probably has been the first 100 years, or even just like the 20 years, and it's all the same to her still.
Perhaps I reached it long ago. Today I didn't even notice my
Well, yeah, Nervalet, obviously. He's the Hydro Dragon thing, which still I don't understand the dragons and the Adepti and the Archons fully. I don't understand like how all the hierarchy works technically still, but yeah, technically some of the Adepti and Nervalet, but even then she was not allowed to tell Nervalet anything. Folklore's told her she can't tell anybody anything, so she even has to be alone from Nervalet, even though Nervalet will be there for a long time as well. He's the dragon. She should be able to tell him, but if Folklore wants to get what she wants and deceive the stars or whatever, she can't even talk to Nervalet. The only person who could technically be able to understand what she's going through, she still can't even talk to them. Because she's prevented from talking. Which, again, also makes it incredibly sad and incredibly hurtful that even the people that live as long as she has, or she can't talk to either. She can't get close to them, because if she slips up one time, the whole plan falls apart. Everything ends right there. Well, her little minions, yeah. But I don't know if she has the minions yet.
investigations across the centuries. But there's not even a sliver of hope that we might break this.
I should have ended the stream like frickin' an hour ago.
All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act.
Like I said, she's already said that, or technically inferred that she doesn't have any power. She gave up her power. She claims she gave up her power to make the Indominus Rex or whatever those balls are that power the Cardinalise. So technically she doesn't have any power right now. So I'm assuming after the fact, when that story mission that you're talking about, this is where she gets it or something. Because right now she's got no power from what I understand. And if she did, when Arlecchino attacked, Daddy Mommy, attacked early, like before we even arrived in the area, she also didn't have any power. She couldn't defend herself. She was scared like a normal human being attacked by someone with power. So she doesn't have anything right now. All she has is living forever and acting skills to pretend. Scene 18... Wow.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
Which is why she couldn't tell Minsvara and why she is so alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case, she's right. I could confide in her, couldn't I?
But then, technically, Lenny kind of ruined that by dropping the box a little soon. We might have actually had her confide in us instead of the trial happening.
But if things don't play out as expected, the people of Fontaine will be the ones to pay the price. No, Farina, you shouldn't be selfish. But what if it's really all right? Farina, you've worked so hard for so.
But then again, even if she did tell Lumine in the box, everybody else was already there. They probably had it mic'd up or something, so everyone was already hearing everything. So
Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can confide your frustrations and sorrows? If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again. Think about it long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina, the Archon of Fontaine. Everything will surely get better.
but that didn't happen.
All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance and
That's not what she said.
Fine.
That's not what she said. That's not what she said. That's not what happened at all.
You've never once let her in on the full plan?
She was in mid-thought about to say something, and then the curtains fell. She didn't say anything about she's the Archon, that she's not gonna say anything. She won't confide in anything like that. And Lumi didn't say fine and walk away. That's not at all what happened. How can I trust anything else that just happened? How can I trust any of the previous portion of that now?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the most tragic fate. It seems that trusting humanity was the right decision after all.
I'll take your word for it, because it seems realistic. It seems like that's how it would go. Living for 500 years as a human disguised as a god, and being cursed to live forever, and having to be forced to be lonely like that. I would assume that would be the truth. All that would be the truth. But that ending part right there, that's what threw a wrench in it right there. Like, you can't just do that.
But that is only half the truth, is it not? How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important thing.
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Eudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
I've I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along.
She was the machine.
And then I became one with the Oratries, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratries take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed.
So it wasn't a...
I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Farina suffered? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratries. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority had to be accumulated to enact this death sentence.
But for what cause? What reason?
Plan then. Both the trial and the sentence.
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the Oratries. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia and breaking through the institution that is the Seven.
So her goal is to break Celestia's rule in a sense. Shaking the rules as established by Celestia and breaking through the institution that is the Seven. So by killing her unaliving herself, and destroying the Divine Throne for the Hydro Archon, she throws Celestia's rule into chaos and destroys the institution of the Seven, which was her goal. But why?
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the face you make.
all you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, don't cry.
Let's bring him back that one. That story of the Hydro Dragon crying.
I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime?
I should be talking more, but...
Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possessed. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human existence itself. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice. In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence.
Okay.
Defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. That should be the justice enthroned over all. At this point, we, whether it be myself or all other Fontainians, have
Like I said, I should be talking more because this is technically I'm a streamer, and it should be, you know, making live content and not just listening to it, but I'm kind of
the highest judge in our land,
losing it a little bit here.
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Eudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last. I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted to feel as they feel. You are a devious one, Focalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
Here we go. This is gonna be the scene.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common.
The fear of death.
Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
They're doing one and the same right now. I don't like that.
Eudex Nervalette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
Didn't cry. Man. No, it was a bit close on that one.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something huge just happened.
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever happened was good for us.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means. I now have the ability to separate the power of the primordials. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine.
Please, can I just pause? Can I pause before I go and fight the Norwal?
Its name is the All Come With Me, Traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Cause I gotta pee and I gotta go to bed. I got work in the morning. I still have to shower. Please don't tell me I have to fight it right now. I don't. Oh God. I don't have the mental strength. It's gonna go right into it. Yep.
But how are we going to do that? It's huge!
I might be able to leave the domain, but like I said, I can't fucking play this whole fucking thing the whole fucking time.
Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. We shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to fucking do. Gotta hit it. Do anything kind of a thing that I can. I'm missing everything right now. I have no idea what I'm supposed to fucking do with this guy. Like I saw a fight of this thing.
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself.
Alright, that's not very good. Is that where we fight it? Little bar near the health and... Well, I got sucked into a frickin' hole. That's nice. Bug it. It's kind of needing the fucking heal, but that's fine too.
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its roots from within.
Apparently, I don't know if I can. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. Hopefully I can at least get past this part, because like it's 11 o'clock, it's 11 p.m. I know I'm not there. To be fair, I will not be streaming tomorrow night. I have to go to sleep early tomorrow night so I can make sure I get up early to go to MegaCon on Saturday. Just so you know, I will be taking a Friday off. So I can get some kind of sleep. So I can then drive an hour and a half down to Orlando. Is that the unknown goddess?
for helping with the cleanup. Should have been my job, but oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Hyman has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks.
Smash.
All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
Possibly missed the point.
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's master.
Oh, right. So you don't know him. His name is Sertologi.
To be fair, yeah, who the fuck?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then?
The foul.
Have you...
The foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the visionary?
Voldrinfner?
Or Gold Rhine-daughter?
Ooh, that one we've heard. Rhine-daughter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master.
I'm so goddamn confused. Also, who also I never knew that. Wait, honestly, who also I never knew that person. I didn't know because I've never heard the fucking name before, but sure.
My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-daughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait, didn't you also mention a
Visionary person. Probably didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos.
Oh, fucking awesome.
In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
So we defeated the narwhal, and the narwhal decided it wanted to shit itself and run away, basically. And when it shit itself, it just shot primordial seawater everywhere. It is natural. After all, the prophecy will surely come true. We knew this and accepted it. However,
Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
so are they safe? Did they not?
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne.
And I get a text message.
Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
So it did flood. So far it flooded. But did everybody get washed away, or are they just gonna come up like just like splash out of the... Yep, there you go. Yep, they're just like, oh god, I almost drowned. What the fuck is happening? It's just the sudden flooding. Okay. So is it going to be a temporary flood, or is it like, you know, in the stories of like, in some of the in some stories, or is it just gonna remain large for? Oh, here comes the giant boats. Yeah, it's fucking huge. And it fly. Obviously, it flies.
All hands, initiate emergency rescue.
Obviously, the boat fudging flies. And it's got claw. Okay, so it's playing claw games and just picking up random. Dude. I was about to say. Okay, no, it's just like, hurry up, climb onto it. I thought I was gonna just grab people and just yank them up into the goddamn boat. Just. You know, I thought it was gonna be such a different thing. You're just gonna like grab them and yoink them up, and no, it's just like, grab on, climb onto it, we'll pull you up. Okay. I'm also surprised of how long people are able to hold their breath, but it's not, shouldn't be a surprise because technically they were oceanids.
Look, the water's receding.
Yeah, there's the receding water. My question is, where does that water go back to? If it's supposed to be primordial water or whatever, it's supposed to go big. And that also begs the question, do the people who are already dissolved, do they come back? Or are they going to be staying as oceanids forever? That's my question here, because technically they should all be forgiven and everyone's saved now. What about the people who are already dissolved? Do they come back or are they gone forever? God dang it, why do you have to tell me that? You could have just let me live with ignorance, because ignorance is bliss. I thought Melissa and Silver would come back, but no, they're dead. Goddamn cough. Needs to go away. The water spills through Tibet, and since Fontaine is upgrounded, I guess in Laureate. Well, I don't really know. Just let this just do by itself. I don't know, because in some areas it's like above everything else, and it's got like a waterfall all the way around or whatever. But then if it is same level as everything else, or even above, I don't understand how the water goes above that and doesn't flood everything else in Tibet. Unless there's like a magic wall. It's just like a magic wall of water that just floods this one area or something. Or if it's a mountain range that surrounds it like a bowl, maybe. Like it's just like a surrounding bowl of land, and the sea is like trapped inside of it and then goes up. But I don't think it's doing that. I don't think it's that either. So I'm still curious as to why the water floods the way it does, but then it doesn't flood everything else. And then also how there's like several hundred feet of water that just came in, which is like, how do I explain that, dude? Several hundred, it like raised several hundred feet into the air, swallowed everything in water, but only in a certain amount of area. It's a lot of fucking water. And how nothing was destroyed, how none of the buildings were destroyed by the rushing water and the weight of that water as well. Also is concerning. Why aren't the trees and the grass and why are the flowers okay, man? Don't worry, you'll probably forget. I'll probably forget tomorrow, yeah, actually. Goddamn goldfish memory. Not goldfish memory, it's just concussions, ADHD, can't remember shit.
What do you think?
I can remember stupid things, but I can't remember, you know, certain things, but I'll still hold the point. If the water did flood everything in Fontaine, how did it not flood anything else in Tibet? Where did the water go? Was there just a magic water wall holding it up? And then why was nothing destroyed? Why are all the animals okay? why? How did I would assume people died because of just drowning, not turning into, you know, water, but I would assume people died from the sudden crashing of waves, you know.
I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed.
I'm just
And also, with you around,
same reason my memory has only capacity for my games. My memory has the capacity for stupid science fact, automotive facts, and sometimes a little bit of game facts. If it comes to literally almost anything else, I start forgetting things. But then again, I can remember a bit things on sports, and I can remember things for history as well. It's all weird. It's all weird. But that's ooh. Hey baby, how you do? Just fuck. That's just dumb. It's just dumb. Just dumb. Just dumb. Yeah, at least collect this right here. No, I just want to collect it. Do I get these? I do not. I do not get that yet. I'm still not there yet. Okay. Let me collect that. Holy shit.
I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back?
Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. I'm freaking out. It's 11 o'clock. I have to go to work tomorrow, and I have to freaking... I was supposed to end the stream around 9:30, so I could take my shower and go to bed kind of early. Around like 10:30. Now I still have to take my shower. I'm not gonna be going to bed until midnight. That's not good. I gotta go to work tomorrow. It's gonna be a busy day. I have to go to sleep earlier than I wanted to tomorrow because I have to get up around 5:30 on Saturday so I can get ready, go pick up my cousin, get gas, and drive to Orlando to get to MegaCon and meet up with some friends for MegaCon. And then also still have the energy to come back and get set up for the Drunk series on Saturday night so I can get absolutely fucking plastered and continue playing Resistance 3. Only so I don't sleep until 1 or 2 in the morning again, wake up at like 9 on Sunday, and then frickin' be hungover for the entire day until the Super Bowl comes and stream the Super Bowl. And then only then will I get to sleep in Monday because I made sure, as the fucking boss and owner of my business, that I can be closed the day after the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna be absolutely fucked now. And I will only have Monday to get any kind of get back up. I'm gonna hate life. I'm gonna hate every bit of life. And I didn't even cry because of Folklore's dying. God dang it. I just realized I messed up yours. You didn't mess it up, the game messed it up. God dang it, since you kept going on autopilot while I was talking. Well, I'm not blaming you, I'm blaming the game. Ooh, hey baby, what the mechanical things do? I have to. She could crush my head simply and easily, you know. The hottest thing still for a man is to have their head between some metal thighs and just pop like a chip. I need to go to sleep. The more tired I get, the more it's gonna get like that. I'm getting. Thank you for watching. If you like, leave a like. If you want to dislike, leave a dislike. If you want to see more, subscribe. All that bullshit. I'm gonna go now. There will not be a stream tomorrow night. There should be a video for score prediction for the Super Bowl / prediction who I think is gonna win, and an extra bit of prophecy under the cover I think is gonna happen at the end of the game as well. Video should come out sometime tomorrow night sometime, so that's gonna happen. I will be gone Saturday for MegaCon. If I can get back in time, there will be a drunk stream. We'll continue playing Resistance 3 while I get absolutely plastered, which is always fun. And I should post like at least 1 or 2 videos from MegaCon. And then the live reaction to, you know, the Super Bowl. Yeah. I'm gonna go now. I'm sorry. How are you? How are you? Because I plead the fifth. Goodbye. Goodbye. Have a good night. Good day, everybody. Oh, Jesus Christ.